The moment you hear the name Strait of Hormuz, it creates a silent tension, a feeling you can't quite explain, but you can definitely feel. It may look like just a narrow waterway on the map, something small, almost insignificant. But in reality, this tiny stretch of water holds the balance of the entire world's economy. Every single day, massive ships move through this route, slowly, heavily, carrying oil, carrying energy, and, in a way, carrying the future of nations. And here's the unsettling truth. If something goes wrong here, the impact doesn't stay here. It spreads across countries, across continents, and eventually into your life. So the question is it really just a simple path? Or is there something far deeper hidden beneath its surface? Because the truth is, Hormuz is not what it seems. It's far more complex, far more fragile, and far more important than most people realize. Now imagine a place where the sun burns so intensely that life itself pauses at noon. The air feels heavy, almost suffocating. The land is dry, cracked, and unforgiving. And fresh water is not just rare, it is precious. Surviving here is not just difficult, it's a daily challenge. And yet, for thousands of years, people kept coming back. Empires rose and fell around this region. Traders crossed dangerous seas. Explorers risked everything, even their lives. But why? What is it about this place that keeps pulling humanity toward it, again and again? When you finally step onto Hormuz Island, the first thing that strikes you is its beauty. Not ordinary beauty, something almost unreal. Mountains glowing in shades of red, yellow, orange, and purple, layered like brushstrokes on a giant canvas. It feels like you've stepped into another world, as if nature itself decided to create a masterpiece. But this beauty has a story written over millions of years. Volcanic eruptions, ocean pressure, shifting earth, and endless time. Every layer beneath your feet tells a story of fire that once burned, of water that once ruled, and of destruction that shaped everything you see today. But behind this breathtaking beauty lies a reality that is far less forgiving. Life here is not easy, not even close. And yet the people who live here don't fight nature. They don't try to control it. They understand it, they respect it, and most importantly, they adapt to it. Their lives follow a rhythm set by the environment itself. They wake before sunrise, work while the world is still cool, pause when the heat becomes unbearable, and return again when the sun begins to fade. Even their homes are built with purpose. Thick walls to block the heat, small windows to control airflow, every detail carefully designed for survival. Nothing is wasted here. Nothing is random. And that's the lesson Hormuz quietly teaches. Survival is not about having more. It's about understanding what you have and using it wisely. But just a few kilometers away from this simple life, a completely different world exists. Massive oil tankers pass by every single day. So large they look like floating cities on the horizon. They carry billions of dollars worth of energy. Fuel that powers cities, industries, and entire nations. On one side, global wealth, power, and influence. On the other, small villages, where life moves slowly and simply. Two completely different realities, existing side by side, yet never truly touching. And then there is the sea. At first glance, it seems calm, peaceful even. But beneath the surface, it tells another story. The water here is unusually warm, too warm for many forms of life to survive. And yet, somehow, life finds a way. Coral reefs, fragile, delicate, have adapted to conditions that should have destroyed them. Those that couldn't adapt disappeared. Those that could became stronger. This is evolution in its rawest form. Not far from the shoreline, something even more extraordinary exists. Forests growing in salt water. Where most trees would die, these survive. They filter salt through their roots, release it through their leaves, and continue to grow in conditions that seem impossible. These forests are not just ecosystems. They are beginnings. This is where marine life starts, where entire food chains are born. And if this is destroyed, It doesn't just affect one place, it affects everything connected to it. And in the middle of all this stands the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow passage, yet one of the most important routes on Earth. Nearly 20% of the world's oil passes through this single point. Think about that for a moment. One narrow path, controlling a fifth of the world's energy supply. This is not just geography. This is power. Even if you live thousands of miles away, what happens here can still reach you. Fuel prices, global markets, political stability, all connected to this one place. That's why tension here never truly disappears. Powerful nations are always watching, waiting, preparing, because one mistake, one conflict, could trigger a chain reaction across the world. But for the people who live here, none of that matters as much. Their world is different. They wake up thinking about the sea, about the weather, about whether today will bring enough fish to survive. Their concerns are simple, but real. And so, two realities continue to exist side by side, one driven by global power and politics, the other by everyday human survival. But the question still remains, how long can this fragile balance hold? Because the world is changing. The oceans are warming, pollution is spreading, pressure is increasing, and places like Hormuz feel these changes first. When coral dies, fish disappear. When fish disappear, communities suffer. When forests vanish, entire ecosystems collapse. And these changes don't happen overnight. They happen slowly, quietly, until one day they can no longer be ignored. And that is why Hormuz is not just a place. It is a warning, a reminder that everything is connected, that power alone is not enough to survive. Adaptation is, understanding is, balance is, because the world is changing, slowly but surely. And in the end, only those who can adapt will survive.